Hi, I'm Ashley, self-proclaimed resources nerd and staff member at Futures Northwest. In this series, Northwest Career and College Connections, I'll be interviewing folks from local colleges and apprenticeship programs in Whatcom and Skagit County to highlight new and important information so that you can take your next step after high school with confidence. Today's guest is Lacey Hall, the Apprenticeship Coordinator of the Operating Engineers Regional Training Program. She'll be answering questions about the apprenticeship program, what a career as a heavy equipment operator looks like, and what you can do to set yourself apart in the application process. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single tip to support your future success. Got a question? Leave it in the comments section below. Welcome, Lacey. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, your role, and what your favorite thing about what you do is?
I joined the operators when I was 21 years old, and I've been in for almost 22 years now. 18 years in the field running the heavy equipment, mostly cranes, working all over Washington, Idaho, and Alaska. I worked on the water quite a bit in marine construction, which was really neat, getting to see a lot of whales and bears and just getting to travel around and do cool stuff. And I was offered a position with the apprenticeship program 4 years ago, and it was the second best decision I ever made. The first one was becoming an operator. And I really love my job because I get to give back to the program that gave me my start and gave me my education and the foot up to be able to have a successful career in the trades, which was amazing.
That is wonderful. I love that. Okay, so let's go really basic here for a second. Number one, what is an operating engineer? And then can you tell us a little bit about the Heavy Equipment Operator Training Center and what would be your advice to students interested in this opportunity?
So an operating engineer is a pretty broad stroke. So a lot of people think, just basic driving through Seattle, they see the big cranes on the buildings, the tower cranes. And although there's lots of different cranes, that's kind of where the normal folks, that's where their mind goes, or running a piece of equipment on a highway job, or mining equipment, or it's so diverse. You could run a drill, you could run a paver. Infrastructure, all the bridges being built and the roads being repaired, fish culverts. It's endless. We're everywhere. We're not a huge in numbers, but we're an integral part of building trades and road construction, and a lot of it. And it's stuff where you need to be skilled and to know how to do things, and that happens with on-the-job training. But it's also very important to get schooling. And we have a training center in Ellensburg, 1,600 acres, and well over 100 pieces of equipment, ranging from cranes to dozers to M-series graders or motor graders. And that's a place that you can go and get a good idea of how to run the equipment, get the basics. We have fabulous instructors. We put you up in a motel in town. We feed you, and it doesn't cost you a dime. It's all paid for by our membership. They put in a certain amount of money per hour that they work, and that's how everything is funded. So it's a totally pay it forward situation.
That's beautiful.
Great. Yeah.
I love that. And can you tell us a little bit more about the advice that you would give a student who is curious? Like, let's start from the curiosity that a student might have about this pathway. What would you tell them?
Yeah, if you're driving down the road and you see the big yellow iron and you're just like, woo, that's something you can relate to it, or it just brings up feelings of excitement, or there's some kind of passion there. Maybe your parents are involved in the trades, and that's how or your grandpa, or it was a logger, or so, there's got to be some kind of connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for me, nobody in my family was in any kind of construction. And it was through some friends of mine that I got exposed to it. And so whatever pathway gets you there, you have to follow your dreams. You have to listen to your heart. And this trade can be challenging. And that's part of the beauty of it, is the challenge. But you have to be in it for the right reasons. You know, we make really good money, we'll talk about later, and good benefits, but you have to have the desire to want to learn and work hard and get up at 4 o'clock every morning and go through traffic and show up on the job site with a big smile on your face, ready to build America.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. I love starting with that seed of like, where's your motivation? And then moving from there.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, next question. So for many of us, myself included, getting into an apprenticeship program can be really confusing. There's all sorts of different variations of that depending on the program. So can you walk us through the steps of applying and getting accepted into the program, and then what happens after you complete?
Sure. So the very first step would be to go to our website at oetraining.com, and that is where you would fill out your application. So it's all done online. It's going to ask you to put in some information about yourself, and then it will be sent in a secure portal to our training center where they will accept that, and then you can upload all your documents such as your high school diploma or GED, driver's license, birth certificates. It will walk you through all the information that needs to be provided. And then you will receive an email saying everything is complete. And we have a deadline it's usually right in the middle of November. Unfortunately, we are only capable of taking applications. We take them all year, but we only process them once a year. So mid-November is the D-Day. And then we do interviews in January. And then if you make it past that portion of it, we do what's called safety and orientation in March, and it will be one of the first 3 weeks of March. We do 3 full weeks of it, where we ask you to come over to the training center and spend 4 days with 4 different instructors, and you will receive a score each day, and they're compiled, and at the end of the 3 weeks, the top scoring candidates will be asked to come do 10 weeks of entry-level training.
Wow, that's awesome. And then once the entry-level training is complete, what's the next step after that?
You go to work. We find you a job and we place you with a company on a job site doing anything from grade checking to running a roller to running loader on a pipe crew, oiling on a crane, rigging and signaling, depending on what pathway, because we have 3 different pathways in our program. You can choose construction equipment operator, which is all things dirt, paving, drilling, and everything in between on that side. And then there's the hoisting engineers, which is cranes, and forklifts. And then heavy duty repair mechanics. So heavy duty diesel mechanics. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us that insight into those different pathways too. That's a question I didn't even know to ask. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
go ahead. Sorry, you just need to declare that when you do your application, which pathway that you want to go down. So,
okay. Yeah. So if you didn't know, how would you find out which pathway you wanted to go down?
Our website provides quite a bit of information, or call one of us, one of the coordinators. There's another full-time coordinator named Carl Magnuson, and we can provide our phone numbers. And if you just have questions about what it means to be hoisting or construction equipment operator or mechanics, we'd be more than happy to talk to you and give more information.
That's great to know that you can also contact a person if the website isn't answering all of your questions. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So when you're looking at the candidates and you're deciding who's going to make it and who's not, what in your mind sets a candidate apart? When you're reading those applications, who are the ones that are kind of blowing your mind?
It's more the in-person, the interaction at the interview and during safety orientation. attitude. It's all about your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your authenticity of your just can-do attitude. You know, there's a little thing that one of the pre-apprenticeships teaches, and it's called the 3 P's and the W. And it's perseverance, punctuality, positive attitude, and work ethic. And for me, those are if you can have all 4 of those things in your pocket, there's nothing you can't conquer.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. And I love that it's not a particular skill set that you're looking for, but it's a sense of values and determination and personality that you're looking at. So that's great. Let's see. And we can always grow in those areas too. They're not fixed. That's what I love about that. Like, you know, if you know that that's the goal, like, okay, I'm going to work on my positive viewpoint on this thing. You know, you can work on it. We all can.
Yes.
Okay, so we have some questions from students. How much money do operating engineers make, and how long does it take to complete the program?
So the range from when you start out is right at $30 an hour plus $22 of benefits. That's every hour you work. So there's $13.55 that goes into your retirement and $8.65 that goes into your health and welfare, plus the $30 an hour. And then you top out, our contract is forever changing, right? We get raises every June 1st. It's very close to $50 an hour as a journeyman. Wow. And that also plus the $22 an hour. And it is a 6,000 hour apprenticeship program. Gotcha. And yeah, you're going to do somewhere between 500 and 800 hours of RSI.
Okay. Now, RSI, what does that acronym stand for?
Related Supplemental Instruction. So training.
Gotcha. Yeah. And, oh gosh, I had a question. So when a student goes to the training center and say they want to work in Bellingham, Washington, where their family lives, is there a way to connect them to work that is local to where they want to be, or do you just kind of get sent wherever?
So the way our standards are written is that we ask them to be willing to travel 80 miles in one direction.
Yeah.
Believe me, I do my best because as coordinators, we do the dispatching. So we're linking these apprentices with the jobs. And if we can keep them closer to home, we most definitely do. It's just nothing that we can promise because the calls come in a certain way and people are ranked or on an out of work list, and we have to follow the list down the way it goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sure, does also experience count too? Like,
yes. So if a contractor calls and is requesting a certain skill set, then we can mold, go down the list and say, oh, this person has tested out on dozers, so that's what they're looking for. So that's the person that gets the job.
Perfect. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. And then if a student were on the fence about applying, what would you recommend they do to gain clarity?
So we have these wonderful resources called pre-apprenticeship programs. And if you know that you want to work with your hands, or that, you like getting dirty, or you like waking up early and putting work boots on, but you're just not sure which trade is speaking to you, these awesome programs are usually like somewhere around 11 weeks. And it doesn't cost you any money. You do have to, I think, apply and interview for them. But they're fabulous. ANU, PACE, PACT. The Tarot has one. I know I'm missing some people, so sorry.
ANU?
Yeah, ANU and PACE are together.
Okay.
They've merged. So there's, Kent and Snohomish and Seattle. And they're really trying to expand north and south.
Cool.
They go through the different trades and let you get some hands-on experience to see where your strengths and passions lie.
That's great. So it's kind of like that sampler course.
Yeah, for sure.
Fabulous. Okay. So Can you talk a little bit more about the types of work heavy equipment operators would be doing and what the career course of an operating engineer might look like? Like, is there a time, like I noticed, like right now you're working on the apprenticeship side. So is that a traditional like course arc where you're at some point giving back and helping to recruit new people, or is that just unique to you?
Well, a little bit of both, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of folks that go through the apprenticeship and they want to give back, so they become a union steward. So they're a liaison between the union and the rank and file, helping with contractual stuff, which is a great way to give back. Or people can help with outreach. So we call journeymen and graduated apprentices and say, hey, do you want to help with this outreach? Because for young people to see others that have gone through that pathway and been successful and love their job, it's very motivating.
Yeah.
So I didn't ever think that this was where I would end up. I just thought I'd run crane till I retired. But I'm more than happy to be in the role I'm in, and I absolutely love it. So there is, if this is something that interests you, there's definitely room for growth to become a business agent or an apprenticeship coordinator, or heck, the business manager. That's like the grand poobah. It can be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that every person that I've talked to has absolutely loved their job. Like, love it. Love their career course, like loved everything about it. So here you are again telling us how much you love it, which it just speaks volumes, and is why it's so important to talk about all of these different opportunities with students.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh,
And
go
ahead.
I was just going to say, I love the operators, and it's a great program, but there's so many really good apprenticeship programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I speak highly of all the building trades and apprenticeship coordinators out there trying to make it happen for all these young folks and people who just need some support and get excited about a career in the trades.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So what do you believe is the most valuable part about joining the union, and how does that process work? Is it at the beginning? Is it in the middle? At the end? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's actually in the beginning for us. Once your initiation is paid off, usually within the first 7 to 9 months, you're a full-fledged member. You can always go to union meetings, even as an apprentice that hasn't paid their initiation fee, come in as a guest. And I think that speaks volumes to our family setting. We're brothers and sisters. We look out for each other. We try to have each other's backs, and we've talked about the pay it forward. It's somebody's got to take my spot when I leave. So it's building people up and teaching and passing things along, because that's the only way that our industry will grow and stay strong. And it's the old-fashioned days are going away, and it's all about bringing everybody together and to have a common goal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely believe that that's true from everyone that I've spoken to. Yeah. And I get a sense that it is a very positive familial environment. Yeah, very much so. So this is our last question, what are the top 2 resources or tip that every new applicant should know about?
We kind of already talked about the pre-apprenticeship stuff, and those you can find online. You just look up pre-apprenticeship, or you probably have a guide to them. The RPAC has an apprenticeship guidebook that you can look at that has different trades in it and some stuff about how to apply and the different like the geographical areas that different trades cover, different locals cover, or the YouTube. Like if you like equipment and you want to see more about it, is just look stuff up on the internet. It's such a readily available medium that you can watch people running cranes and watch bridges being built and roads being built.
Yes, that's such a great idea. I mean, we're so lucky to have YouTube and to have people who are passionate about what they do and they're sharing it on the internet. Yeah. Like, why not? That's a fabulous tip. I love that.
Yeah, there's some good time-lapse videos of stuff even being built in the Seattle area that you can look up, and it goes really fast, but it's really cool. You see, you know, things being torn down and then built back up, and it's pretty amazing.
I love those videos. We just watched one at Whatcom Community College of the new residence hall being built. They did just time lapse of that, and it was so cool. I loved watching it. Yeah, so that's an excellent tip. Did you have anything else that you wanted to mention before we close out today?
Just that it's a big world out there in construction, and if this is your heart's desire, don't give up. And it can be a really amazing career and very rewarding, not just financially, but what you do is tangible. You have things that you're building, and you can look back and see these things that you've built, or you have your kids with you, or somebody you love, you're driving by something that you helped build or you were a part of, and that's pretty irreplaceable.
It really is. I can speak firsthand to that. My husband is a fabricator, and we'll drive by things that he's built, and my kids are like, "You made that, Dad?" And he's like, "Yeah, I made that." It's so cool. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, my biggest claim to fame is when the Skagit River the I-5 bridge fell in the river.
Yes.
I actually ran the crane that pulled the bridge pieces out.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was on the front of the Seattle Times, and crazy.
Go Lacey. Awesome. No big deal. I just lifted a bridge out of a river. All in a day's work.
My piece.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your wisdom and your time and the way that you are helping the next generation of students enter into this incredible field. So for more detailed information on today's video and other resources, check out the show notes. We'll be including everything that Lacey talked about, as well as some other resources. And feel free to leave any questions for myself or Lacey. And remember to subscribe and like this channel for more resources and information to take your next step after high school with confidence. Feel free to check out our website at FuturesNW.org if you would like to access that information immediately. And I hope to see you next time on Northwest Career and College Connections. Bye.